We are back talking about my favorite subject, awkward situations in the bedroom. Does she really care if I lose my erection? This has happened to many of us guys, that we've either totally lost our erection or we've gone soft during or before sex, and we are left with this situation of embarrassment, of awkwardness, this mess to try and clear up. Let's start off with understanding the reaction. I'd like you to think back to a time where this has happened to you. Okay, you've lost the erection either during or before sex. Now, there is a spectrum of reactions from our partner in that moment, or the person that we're with. It goes from nothing and just awkward silence all the way up to extreme and often totally inappropriate things that are said, like, well, this hasn't happened to me with any other guy. Or sometimes I even heard extreme examples of like, oh, you must be gay. Just intense, inappropriate things that are said that don't make it any better for anybody in that situation. So I want you to realize this. There is a spectrum of reactions, and that is not based on you, by the way, because we can't control the other person's reaction. The other person's reaction is based on where they are at mentally, emotionally, and their ability to be flexible dependent on the situation, or to not be flexible and just have a total emotional reaction. What we must focus on is, and what are we thinking ourselves? How do we change if there's an awkward vibe in the moment, and then how do we get it sorted? Because you see, all of these things we are in control of. We can't change the other person's reaction, but we can change what's going on for ourselves. So let's jump into what is on their mind. When we lose the erection, what is actually on her mind? I find a really helpful way to start thinking about this is thinking about what goes through our mind. So the questions like, oh my God, what if I can't satisfy them? What if this happens again? What if they think it's because of them? What if they leave me because of this? I just want to be able to give them pleasure. What if I can never do that? These types of questions. What if they think that I'm not good enough for them? This is generally what goes through our mind. And it may be, or it may not be, a surprise to hear that a very, very similar pattern of thoughts are going through her mind in that moment. The thoughts are most likely to be going through her mind. What if the person that he was with before does it better? What if I'm not doing it right? What if it doesn't feel good for him? You see, we could almost switch out these questions. This is what is most likely going on. Now, let me tell you one really important factor here. Underlying all of these what if thoughts, whether she is thinking this or whether we are thinking, is this fear of loss of safety. Loss of safety. I really want you to remember this in the moment, because we are often our own harshest critics, right? We immediately turn the lens onto ourselves, and you can see this in both of these examples. Whether we've lost the erection, we immediately start criticizing ourselves, or whether the other person is on the end of that experience and they start analyzing and criticizing themselves for not doing things in the right way, or not being attractive enough, or not being good enough. So this is happening on both ends of the spectrum, and it happens because there is this fear of loss of safety in the moment. We are wired this way. We go around asking ourselves two main questions: am I safe? Am I loved? Whenever there is a situation, especially when it happens to come with heightened emotions like sex, this just blasts to 100 miles an hour of feeling unsafe. All we actually want in this moment is the sense of reassurance that everything is going to be okay. Both of us want that, right? If I've lost my erection, I want a sense of reassurance that this isn't the end of things because of it. And if she is on the experiencing end of that, she is looking for reassurance that this doesn't mean that the relationship's going in a bad direction, or this doesn't mean it's because of her. These are just examples, okay? I think most of the time, the person, she's not laying there questioning the entire relationship. If it's happened over years or months and months, yes, that may happen. But the most important thing that the person is looking for in this moment is reassurance. So instead of just rolling over, not talking about it, letting it be the elephant in the room, allowing it to just build this sense of uncomfortability, awkwardness, this weird vibe where nobody speaks about it, we try and ignore it, but both people are totally aware of what happens. Instead of that, let's now move on to how to break this feeling of awkwardness. And you'll be happy to know there's a selection of options at this stage, okay? So I want you to just go with what feels right to you, especially in the moment. By the way, before we get into this selection of options, if this video is helpful so far, in the bottom right-hand corner, you will see a button that says subscribe. Click on that button so you can get the very latest brand new tools and videos all about this awkwardness in the bedroom, how to overcome it as I share them. All right, let's go through option number one, and this is not pulling away, okay? And what I mean by that is not distancing ourselves from the person. This is often our natural reaction, especially as men, I think, because we feel uncomfortable, we feel awkward, and then we want to create a sense of distance. Whether that's I'm going to get some water, or turning over and rolling to the other side of the bed, or just not talking about it and being silent, we create this sense of distance, even physical distance, by removing our arms that's around our partner. We don't want to do that, okay? Because that then just heightens the intense worry about loss of safety. So in the moment, remaining physically connected, or remaining verbally connected, remaining present with our partner, as difficult as it can seem, this is a really important option for us to choose. Second is now how we break the awkward silence. There's a few different ways to do that. Number one, humor, and I would advise this one with caution, okay? Let me say, if you've been with somebody and it's the first few times where this has happened, humor has its place. It has a massive place in breaking awkward silences. Or if we've been with someone for years and years and years, and this has just suddenly happened, it's fine to inject a bit of humor in these scenarios of like, oh, well, looks like he's not down for it, but I'm totally still game. So tell me what you would love right now, and I want to do it. Something like this, okay, where you can both laugh about it. It's not saying this is over and done with all of a sudden. It's saying one part of you looks like he needs a sleep, but the other part, you're still totally there. You're still totally present with your partner. Okay, that's an example of humor. Why did I say use that with caution? Because if this has been happening multiple times at the beginning of when we're getting to know somebody, or in a relationship, this has been happening for quite a long time now, maybe months or years, humor loses its effect. And it's not something to make a continuous joke of, because then it feels a bit shamey, right? So that's where we have to choose another option, which is vulnerability. Okay, so if we're not choosing the humor option, I recommend that we choose the vulnerability option. What does that look like? That looks like saying something along the lines of, this has been happening a few times. We both know that. I feel really frustrated about this and I want to get it sorted. I don't know where to start and I don't have all the right answers. And I would just really appreciate if you could support me in this journey of getting it sorted. Like, I know this is my thing to fix, but I just don't have all the answers and I would love your support. Okay, something like that. That's an example of being vulnerable. I acknowledge that this is happening. I don't exactly know why it's happening and I'm going to get this sorted, but I just want to be with you in that journey. This is highly attractive. This is highly attractive because it's reinforcing safety. Okay, it's not pulling away. It is not creating distance. It's not shutting down. It is reinforcing safety. This isn't going to change anything about our relationship. I want to improve it and I'm going to do that. I'm just asking for your support on that journey. This is highly attractive. Another option that we have in the moment, let's say that she's very horny, very turned on. Going soft is just one part of our body. So let's not limit ourselves to thinking, oh, that's it, now it's game over. There's still so many things that we're able to do, whether it's going down on her, whether it is using our hands, whatever it may be. There's so many options to be able to allow her to have pleasure still. Okay, so this is still totally on the table. Please do not think everything is now over and done with, because there's still many, many, many options. Now let's move on to the third and final piece of how to feel normal again. If this has been going on consistently, whether it's for weeks, for months, or for years, and you feel like you notice this loop of before sex, you're thinking, what if it happens again? During sex, maybe it starts okay, or the thoughts start to come straight back in of, am I going soft again? What if I can't satisfy them? And then the thing happens, the situation happens that we don't want. We either lose the erection or we can't climax, or we climax too soon. It is time to get this sorted, okay? There isn't any other way. As men, we can tend to jump to the quick fixes, whether it's pills, searching for endless information online, but we have to ask ourselves, is this actually working over the long term? Is it what we want? Does this feel right? And in my experience, no is often the answer to that. That is not getting the results that we want. Here is where I would like to tell you about the performance anxiety quiz. If any of this has been relatable to you, then I encourage you to take the free performance anxiety quiz, which is 10 yes or no questions that you ask yourself that will show you if you're experiencing erection or climax challenges. Is this performance anxiety or is it because of something else? And you'll also get a 3-step free plan to be able to get this sorted. That's it. Okay, this will take you less than a minute to complete. If this sounds interesting to you, then head to the comments below. You'll see the link to the performance anxiety quiz. When you click on that link, it's going to take you straight to the page to answer those 10 yes or no questions, and I will see you right there.